Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, November 17, 2025. Here for my weekly cross stitch update, and it's crazy that it's so late in the year, but here we are. We've got storm this past weekend. Our power went out for 2 hours on Friday night and 2 hours on Saturday morning, so that was interesting. I did some stitching by battery light, but yeah, lots to share. So first off, last week I showed some upcoming new starts. I haven't started any of them yet, don't worry. But I wanted to share some of my plans for them. Garden of Quilts by Lori Holt. That one will probably be a New Year new start. There were a couple people interested in starting that one in the new year. And then the Haid 2026 Stitch Along Heaven and Earth Designs will be a new year new start, unless it gets released early, which is possible. Then I'll just start it whenever it comes out. Then Fun Fair Food, I will probably start maybe like the first day of summer. That could be a fun one to start. So that would be like June 21st-ish. And then Glass Castle, I'll be starting with Leanne Stitches here on Flosstube. We are practically birthday buddies, and she expressed interest in starting this one too. So we'll start this at the beginning of September together. So that'll be fun. And then Unlikely Friends, I don't have a plan for it. This is a retired chart by Pain Free Crafts. But who knows? It might get maybe first day of autumn. That's kind of looks, I don't know. We'll see. Or I'll wait until Bear Time Stories is done and I'll be good. So you never know. Okay, hop right in here with travel stitching. I usually start with Books of the Bible by My Big Toe. And this one is my travel stitch on Sunday morning to and from church. So I usually get one length of floss in every Sunday, which is nice. This is a 25 count Be Stitch Me Through the Stones, and it's 1/1 full cross with the called for silks. I did Micah, Nahum, and started Habakkuk. I am cutting off my thread. I thought I'd show in between each word, just so there's no risk of carrying, of seeing the carried thread in between the word, but in between the letters, I am definitely carrying. So if there's a bunch of short words, then I'm wasting more thread because I'm tying off and starting, which is a little bit more wasteful than just carrying to the next letter, but that's okay. My main travel stitch, I did not get to Asters. This is gonna be my small travel stitch, and I will probably start this on Tuesday of this week because we have an orthodontist appointment coming up, so it's ready to go. But my medium-sized travel piece, which is what I'm gonna be doing now for the near future, is Songbird Serenade by Counting Puddles. I'm doing bird 1 right here, and I will eventually put a Bible verse on the bottom, but right now I'm just, top down. I'm right about there. So this one's been fun. I work on this while I wait for my kids after school. And this is a 32 count ice, even weave, Murano, 2/2 full cross. And the back stitch is also 2 strands. I realized that because Counting Puddles does it that way, I could have done this petite and done 1 strand full cross and 1 strand backstitch, and the ratio would have been fine, but it's fine. Big is beautiful, especially when you're giving a gift. So I am happy with that. I'm adding some details as I'm going along, just because it's fun. And yeah, I got some more of the bird, got some flowers. I wanted to do the eye, so then I was using up my string of white in the bird. But that's like the start of some patterns that are going to be in the bird, which is fun. So that's exciting. I'm enjoying that one. And then my bonus, like daily 30 stitching that I'm doing usually in the afternoons when I'm home before I make dinner, that kind of thing. I usually have a little bit of time. So I'm doing a daily 30. Right now, my daily 30 is informed by Flosstube Frenzy. So that my version of it, I have 7 floss tubers that I picked who post somewhat regularly, usually once a week-ish. And I'll give them my daily 30 spot. And so I thought, I was curious this week. I thought, well, maybe I'll have some gaps. And then in those gaps, I can work on my Festive Mandala Sal by Thread the Needle Designs, which I guess I can show you too. Where is that one? But I didn't end up having any holes. Y'all were good and you just kept putting out videos. So I did end up getting to my making time for more time on this Festive Mandala Sal because I wanted to make sure to get this border done before the end of November. So here it is now. I made good progress this weekend. So this is on a 32 count raw silver Belfast, so it's sparkly, and I made it all the way to the bottom. And I have a picture here of it with the pins in it, because I didn't know I'd have more pins now, but of how I counted safely to the bottom to know that this is right, because it's just a solid line, but I want to have the whole thing done before the parts come out in the middle in December, so I have counting, you know, things to count off of. So I ended up counting down this side too, just because it's easier to kind of see in like mark off properly in Pattern Keeper, and because sometimes you forget to mark and you just keep going. I don't know. It's so, and it'll be a good way to double check that I am lined up properly. When I get to the bottom, it should line up, and if it doesn't, something's wrong somewhere. So this is a 2/2 full cross called for DMCs, and yeah, so this is now at 61.57% of the border. She's gonna have each release will be Pattern Keeper compatible, so that'll be nice. So I'll keep chipping away at that this week as I'm able, so that hopefully I can get that done. I still have a couple weeks here in November, and then the parts will come out of the main piece in the middle in December. So that is on Thread the Needle Designs. It's in her Etsy shop, and it's a mystery stitch along. You get the border right now when you order it. You'll get the border right away, and then she'll email you a part of the inside design every day, December 1 through 25. So there'll be daily releases for the center section. So, and it seems so big for something that's gonna have center sections, but I keep reminding myself it's over 2. I'm not used to doing over 2. So it's larger than I'm used to for the same stitch count. So I just need to remind myself of that, because it is going pretty fast. You know, when I'm whipping down the border, it's like, it doesn't take that long, but anyways. So I ended up having a daily 30 of my Flosstube Frenzy choices every day this week, which was great. Those projects that I chose were projects that are focused for finished pieces. So the first one was Cupcake Dreams, and this is assigned to Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. She posted again yesterday. She often posts on Sunday. Here it is. And so I'll work on it again today, because I had someone else to work on yesterday. I just record them. This is a Tilton Crafts former freebie. I mark them down and then work on them in order. Even if it's not the exact day that they posted, it's in the order. Because if I have 2 or 3 or 4 posted on the same day, I'm not going to do them all that day. I'll just spread them out over the week. So Cupcake Dreams got 110 full crosses. It's now at 96.24%. And this is on a 28 count Jubilee in a mint green color. I don't have an official name, but it is a mint green. And this is exciting. I'm getting closer. This will be my goal is to finish this year for sure. There's like 3 pieces I think I want to try to finish this year for sure. And everything else is just if I have time, sure, why not? Let's go for it. So this is one of them that's a for sure. I think I'd like to finish this year. So I'll keep working on it here during this one. The plan for this one, it will continue to come out for 30 minutes whenever Jen posts a video. Oh, that week sometime. It also has 4 days of WhipGo regular day stitching next month. And I will also be able to include it in Daily 30, let's get this done, Daily 30 next month, which is going to be like pick a project and monogamously do a Daily 30 on it until it's done. And I have both of my WhipGo pieces for next month will make it in there. So they should both get done. So that will be great. The next one is Let's Get Spooky. This one came out for Flights of Fancy Stitchers. And this is a Ursula Michael Imaginating pattern. It's so cute. And I think I finished the cat. Yeah, I finished the cat and the black on the moon. So all the black up here is done. And I got started on the pumpkin a little bit. I'm using fancy floss, similar to what's called for DMC, but I've got the floss, so let's use it. So this is a 32 count sleigh bells or sleigh ride, something like that. From Live and Die LA. It's a 2/2 full cross, 1 strand backstitch. So the kitty cat is done. Yay! And then I started in on, and yeah, I think one of these, whichever moon side wasn't done yet, I finished that. And then got started on the orange. There's not a lot of stitching in the pumpkin towards the top. There's a little bit more on the bottom. So hopefully this will come out this week again, I'll do a lot of backstitching in the pumpkin to fill that in more, because this one has a lot more backstitching than it has cross stitches, which is kind of the unique style of this. So there's just a few cross stitches that kind of fill out the backstitching, but you have to do them first. So it ends up being a little odd, but that's okay. Then I worked on Secret Garden by Historical Sampler Company when Leanne Stitches posted a video. I'm excited to get some flowers done, but I was good and worked on some more leaves. This one got 85 stitches. This is a Live and Die LA 28 count, like a mystery green. It didn't have a name. It was like a limited edition oops fabric, I think, although it looks great to me. 1/1 full cross with the called for DMCs. It's now at 52.49%. So I did the lighter green up here, 1 strand of that. So next time this comes out, I'm gonna work on the purple flowers over here because I just really want to do that. It's gonna be fun. So this one is, and same with Let's Get Spooky. They're not must get finished this year, but they're on the list because they're close. So let's get them finished soon on that kind of a list. That's everything that's in that bag. Then I worked on Winter Rose a little bit. Not as much as I would have liked, but I had limited time this day, and so I just did what I could in that half hour and wasn't able to keep going and doing anything. This is a lavender and lace. This came out for Dina, Sit, Stay, Stitch. I got 44 stitches on her. I probably would have done more if I had had any more time, but I was really rushed that day. So 44 stitches, 52.08%. And I'm filling in the kind of a medium color in there, and it is a 2-strand blend. This is a 46 count Vintage Misty Rain, and it's 1/2, except for that blend is 2/2, and it's okay. It's going okay. But I didn't necessarily have a color that would, be better than it, because it's a blend of 2 other colors in the dress. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going with that. Yeah. Anyways, it's a little different because it's not solid. It is speckled and stuff, and they're 2 very different colors. But I think it'll be better than doing it all at once, even though it's a little thicker. I think will be better than doing 1 cross of one color, 1 cross of one other color. I don't want to do that. That just sounds like twice the work. Which I know it's not, but you know. Then I pulled out my story. This is for the Absent-Minded Stitchers by Jeanette Douglas. And I worked on finishing that lighthouse. I did the word home, and then I decided I still had some time, so I got started on the sunflower. And I think I did a little over, maybe more like 45 minutes because I wanted to finish that sunflower. So here's my story. This is on a 32 count lambswool linen, I think. And here this one is. And I'm doing the cross stitches 2 over 2, but everything else there's a lot of specialty stitches, so things get just as called for. So I did this little section in here. It's so cute. A nice little lighthouse, and that sunflower is pretty sweet. This is another one I would want to get finished. So Cupcake Dreams, my story, they're on the shortest of the short list to try to finish this year. This one needs a lot of work because it's slow going, but I'll do it when Absent-Minded Stitchers post for Daily 30, and then they also have a 4-day rotation of regular Whipco stitching next month, and I can put them in my Daily 30 next month too. So that's the plan for that one. Hopefully those 2 will get done. Then I worked on Floral Alphabet by JBW Designs. It's the tiniest little pattern. And I'm doing mine in 3 colors instead of 1. And I'm doing it 2 over 2 actually on 28 count. Demoiselle linen by Even Weave by Picture This Plus. And it's with those silks. So I did 1 length of floss, 82 stitches. It's now at 25.21%. So past the 25% mark, which is nice. I did green, a little bit right here that needed to get finished. So I did that motif, which has a flower in pink that isn't done yet, which is why it looks a little incomplete. Then I started in on the D, I believe, which is right there. But I wanted to finish this motif, so because it was almost done, not quite, so that's what made me do the green. So we'll see what, oh, this one was for Carolyn, Seasook Stitch, when she posted. So 1 length of floss is like a good length for the half hour on a lot of these, so I'll do whatever I, get to, but seems to be what's working a lot of times. And then my Daily 30 for Sunday was Cats in the Rain by Madame Chantilly. And this one comes out when Anne, the Max Color Stitcher, posts. So that's fun. I like this one. This is the other one that I think would be really fun to get done this year. The other 2, Cupcake Dreams and My Story, are higher on the list. This is 3rd because it's going really fast. I'm working on this when I talked to my sister as well. So I did 254 stitches when I talked to her on Tuesday, and then I did another 85 on Sunday for my Daily 30, and this is how far it is now. It's at 58.01%. So it is coming along. This is a 40 count vintage Stormy Night by Zweigart. It's a printed fabric, and it's 1 over 2 full cross. So I got this guy put in. I think I did some more yellow maybe on the call with my sister. And this cat got started on Sunday. 1 length of floss for that cat. So I have a couple more raindrops on the sides that I might try to do this coming week when I do it for Daily 30. Because I don't like to do those when I'm on my call because there's too much counting. But I might start working on more of those raindrops in the near future. But yeah, this one's already over halfway. It's 58% now. And it just works up so fast because it's a lot of block stitching, but it's not boring block stitching because you're stitching cats. So it's like, I think this one will probably get finished this year. So it's 3rd priority on my list. I think it's Cupcake Dreams, then My Story, then Cats in the Rain, as far as priorities go for things I'd like to finish this year. And then the rest of the things in the Flosstube Frenzy group that you just saw are all things that I'd like to finish sooner than later. So if I finish those 3, I still have time left in December and I want to keep trying to finish stuff. They're the top contenders of things I'll focus on. So I don't know of those things what I would work on next. It might depend on how close things are getting with the Daily 30 progress here in November. So we'll have to wait and see. sports stitching. I worked a little bit on He Is Risen for my college basketball team. They had one game and it was 70 stitches. I think they won this week, which is good. This is artwork by Donna Gelsinger, Heaven and Earth Designs. It's the regular size. I'm up here in the sky and I'm getting closer to the end of this section, but it goes pretty quick with the numbers that I'm doing with the half stitch. So I'm not getting super far every time, but this is where I'm at now. This is a 28 count, light blue, even weave dove gray. It might be dove gray. 2/1 half cross. And so I did just a little bit more in here, got 70 more stitches. It is now at 1.26%. So there's still a long way to go. But once this color is done, there's a few more smaller colors in here, and then eventually I can like head over there. So I am picking symbols in the top row and then just stitching them wherever the thread runs out. But since they're big swaths of color, my numbers tick up pretty fast. Which is perfect for this challenge because then I'm not stitching on it for days to try to get the numbers. It's a great challenge for just pop that in, spend 10-15 minutes and get it done. So it's great. I'm really happy with that. So they have another game this week. Usually it's like 1 or 2 games a week. So not as bad as like the NBA, which plays a lot more than that. College is a little tamer. And that's 1 stitch per point that they get in the basketball game. And then I am doing football for the Denver Broncos, which is our family team. So I'm doing our family piece, a crazy wonderful owl family, and this is 10 points, 10 stitches per point. And this week, this is Anya Kai, also Heaven and Earth Designs, charted no background. This week we had a very close game, and thankfully we finally won. It was hard it was an intense game because it was very close, but we made it. And I worked on almost all of it during the game, which was nice. I also worked on a lot of other things during the game while we were waiting to get stitches, to points. They got some points right at the beginning, and then I finished those stitches. I think it was 6 points, 2 field goals while I was, putting the lunch away and everything. So I stitched the 60 stitches for that. And then I worked on other stuff. I worked on my Festive mandala. I worked finishing up books of the Bible. I worked on He Is Risen, I think. I did a lot of stuff. And then they got some more points and I kept stitching on this. So I'm working in Mama Owl. These are 28 count 1/1 full crosses on this glacier, picture this plus. So I finished up some of this color, some of the middle medium light color, and then this color came down here for a total of 220 stitches because we got 22 points, now at 12.66%. So I'm almost done with this 10 by 10 square, and then I'll see if there's anything over here. I don't think there is of any of the other owls, so then I might just come back and start working, which might include some of the feather in the next row, the arm. So we'll see. It'll probably be another little couple weeks before I get to that point though, because there is another couple stitches or a couple colors there in her head, which once I pick a symbol, I stitch it through, even though it's not still in the 10 by 10 grid. I'll just keep going until my thread runs out. So the numbers, in order to get the numbers, I end up stitching down into the rest of it with my string. And then the numbers for the game get used up, and then I still have more to pick at the top, if that makes any sense. Okay, I think that's all of the... I hear the rain, yay! I love the sound of the rain. That was all my kind of bonus stitching. So my regular pieces for the week were my gift stitch, which was Beachcomber this week. And this is by Lindy Stitches. I worked on this 3 different times. I worked, well, 4 technically. 2 days of like regular stitching in the evening at home. And then I pulled it out when I chatted with Colette, the highway stitcher, on Thursday. And then Thursday evening, I actually went to a stitching get-together here in my town, which has never happened before. So that was really fun to get together with the ladies that are local to me. So I worked on this there too. So I managed to get quite a bit of fill-in on my text box. Plus I finished the last row of text, which was great. So here is where I'm at now. This is a 40 count raw linen, I believe. The called for is a 32. I'm just shrunk it a little because that's what I had. And I love it. It's a good sandy color. I'm doing 1/2 full cross with colors that are similar to what's called for. And so yeah, I finished the words beside the sea and then kept going, just filling in the background of that text box. So that's what I'll keep doing as I have time. It'll come back around again next month for gift stitching, and I may pull it out again for calls and stuff, but I might do other focus for finished pieces during the calls too. Then I did Empress Eugenie, which is, I had originally scheduled it last week and ran out of time, so I just bumped it over to this week. This is one I had been considering restarting with a different brand, but I ended up sticking with this brand, and I think it'll be the best charted version. It's a little not as bright of colors because their original artwork was not as bright as some of the ones I've seen in other brands, but the other brands aren't charted as nicely, so I'm going to stick with this one. So this is a golden kite, and I am cropping off a lot of the background, two pages of trees and 1 page of like dark right here. And I am up here in some background and her head. So, and I did a good amount of her head, which is fun. This is probably my widest piece. Not the largest stitch count wise. I think Magic of Christmas takes that trophy. But because after I cropped it, I think if I had not cropped it, it would have been my largest piece. But since I cropped it, it's no longer the largest. But anyways, here I am. This is 2/1 half cross on a 28 count Dove Gray Monaco. And I did not very much the second day. I just didn't have a lot of time that day. So 557 half stitches. It's now at 26.10%, including what I've cropped off. I don't have accurate percentages when I crop stuff. So I did a little bit up here. I did a lot in her as well because, you know, some of it was just because I wanted to, and then sometimes they had some colors that were also like 1 stitch here, and then more happened to be in her. So I'm like, oh, well, there we go. I'll length on my needle and I'll do the 1 stitch, and then I'll finish it out in her. So that was fun. So this is giant. It's, I had a comment, I think it was Colette, who thought maybe Stitching Shelf was my biggest one because I always have to like sit back to show it. But this one is bigger. I just don't have to sit back yet because I don't have that much finished on it. So it is bigger, but because this is 28 count, Stitching Shelf is 28 count, but I don't have that much done on this one yet. So that's why I don't have to sit back, because that one has stuff worked all over the place, which I will show you here in just a little bit. Alrighty. Oh, that was fun. So then I worked a little bit on Butterfly Cat, and this is one that I worked on while the power was out. So I got started on it when we still had power, which is good because the first color I came to was very pale and hard to see. So once the power was out, I made sure to work on darker colors so it'd be easier to see because the light was very dim. This is a Max Colors version, already charted with no background, so the percentages are correct. I am doing it on Nessie, Cashel 28 count, Picture This Plus, artwork by Kayomi Hirai. And I call it Butterfly Cat, even though this just says butterfly, because it's clearly a butterfly cat. So not as much progress as I would have liked, but due to the circumstances, I'm glad I got something done on it. So I did 259 full crosses. Oh no, it was Flower Garden that didn't get as much time. This one actually got an okay amount for one day. So 259 stitches, full crosses, and it's 1.34% now. So considering the power was out while I was working on it, and that's not too bad. That's pretty good actually. So I filled in some more in here, a little bit up here. I don't know if I came down here that much, so just mostly around in this area. I double checked this is still the highest point. The other ear and the two wing tips are a little bit lower. So I'm still doing my typewriter method, picking symbols, and this is the highest point still. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, it was Flower Garden next up that didn't get very much time. And I don't remember. Oh, I was busy. I had some other stuff I needed to do in the early evening, which kind of took time away, and I ended up working more on the Festive mandala than I expected to, because I wanted to get to the bottom of the side and take all the pins out. So that took up more time. And so then I ended up not getting that much time on Flower Garden, but that's okay. I'm looking forward to bringing it back out again next year at some point. And I went ahead and cropped it in Pattern Keeper. So I took off 129 rows off the bottom. So it's going to end just below the basket now. And it'll be more of a square that way. And I don't have to stitch all the boring colors forever. Because if I ever get that low in the pattern, I'm not going to want to stitch it. I'm going to want to be done anyway. So might as well just crop it off now. I did that on Friday. I cropped off 80,625 stitches off the bottom. So making it now 18.22%. Then I worked on it a little bit on Saturday, 148 half crosses. This is a 28 count rose Monaco, and it's a 2/1 half cross. Now at 18.25% after my 148 stitches. So not a lot going on, but I worked up pick symbols up in here. They may have come down here a little bit, but overall, not a lot. So I'm kind of sad about that, but something is better than nothing. And it's hard to decide if I should bump something else or to continue on something, or just let it go and pick it up again next time. And this time I'm like, I'm just gonna let it go, because I didn't know how much time I would have for my regular piece on Sunday. I ended up having a good amount of time, but I don't know that ahead of time necessarily. And I knew I had a lot of little things I wanted to work on Sunday, so I didn't want to also throw in more on Flower Gardens. I'm like, I'm fine. So then on Sunday, I did all my little things. I did books of the Bible in the car. I did a little bit more on the Festive mandala during the football game. I did He Has Risen. I did Gridiron Grind. I did my Daily 30. And I still had time to do my seasonal Sunday on the stitching shelf, which was amazing. I was like, I still have time. This is great. So this is my current seasonal Sunday piece. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs, the regular size max colors. I'm in the autumn shelf. And let me see. Oh, it is a bookshelf. Okay. I was like, what am I stitching here? So I did some shelf. And then I also got started on this bookshelf right here. So I'm pretty happy with what I was able to get done. 634 half stitches. And I also cut down my fabric. So it's always been kind of bugging me whenever I pull this out. The margin on the left and the bottom are a lot larger than the top and right. So it's not even, and it makes me feel like I have a lot more I need to finish. And it's hard to put it in the camera because it's hard to center it. So I cut off some of the left and some of the bottom. So now everything is a similar, just over 3-inch border. It's all even now, which is really nice. So it'll be easier to show you everything. And this is now what the autumn shelf looks like. This is a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco, 2/1 half cross. So I did a lot of this color, even into the spring shelf actually. So I finished this shelf over here and carried it down, and then I also carried it up into the spring shelf because it was like, it's right there. I need to do it. And then I wasn't sure where else to go. I came along the bottom here with that same color, and I was going to head up, but I would need to do a good amount of counting because there's a little bits of it in here. And I was like, Then I noticed there's some structure in here of color that is like everywhere. Let's work on that. So I switched gears and picked up this color, which is a bright orange, but it's in a small bookshelf within the big bookshelf here. So I got, this coming week, I'm going to finish that color. It's got another bar here and then down this side. So I'm going to at least finish that color. I don't know what else I'll do, but it's kind of fun on this piece to just, what do I feel like working on? Where does this color go? Let's kind of play around here. So I'm really enjoying this, so much so that I decided to make sure it gets a spot in my daily 30 plans next year, which I keep fine-tuning my 2026 plans, but I will do a plans video shortly. But this is something I think I'm going to add to that because I want it to get more than 2 days next year. That was making me sad to think of only getting 2 days, especially since there's 4 seasons. 2 days wouldn't get me very far. So that's going to get a little bit more work done next year, which is going to be great. Okay, I think the rest of this here is plans. Yeah. So plans for this week. My gift stitch for this week is Bear Time Stories. Just the one for my middle son. This is the Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Randall Spangler. It's the mini. And I'm going to finish out the color I'm working on in the book because he wanted me to fill in some of that gap in the book. This is a 40 count Verdal 1/1 half cross. This is the whole thing. I've been doing lots of different versions of this, methods, a lot of extreme cross country, filling in different spaces at different times. So I'm going to finish out this tan, like creamy color in here to finish that color in the pages. Then I'm going to go back to the top and start working typewriter method, picking a symbol, working it in. And the problem with this is the background is still very busy. There's still stuff going on, which is nice. But sometimes you'll pick a symbol and there won't be a whole lot of it, or it'll be scattered. So I'll probably try to pick shorter lengths with 40 count over 1. 12-inch length is plenty sometimes. So I'll do like a small length wherever it goes and come up and pick the next symbol and try to start filling in the back, which it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully I get to that point here in the next 2 days. I can finish that book and then start in on that. That'll be fun. See some stuff fully finished there at the top. And then we have what would have been my WIPCO slots for Colors of the Seasons, but I got it done. So instead, my WIPCO spots for today, or this week and next week, is I'm going to do Great British Baking Show catch-up stitching. I was working on that game. I had 12 projects, my 12 oldest projects assigned to the 12 contestants. I was doing a length of thread every time something happened. And then I just kind of ran out of steam as far as making time for those projects. It was too much with all the other things I was trying to do. So there's 4 days assigned to that WIPCO call that no longer have anything happening because I finished that project. So there's 4 projects left of my Great British Baking Show game that I hadn't worked on yet. 1 per day. Perfect. So this week I'll be working on, I figured my Wednesdays I'll do the pieces that needed fewer lengths of floss, and Thursdays I'll work on the pieces that needed more lengths of floss because it's a little more likely I'll have more time on Thursday, although next Thursday is Thanksgiving. Not sure how much time I'll get done on Thanksgiving, but you know, we'll see. We'll make it work. Maybe in the morning before we head over to family, I can work on some. We'll see. Anyway, so this week I ended up, it's going to be both Mirabilias that were left over for the Great British Baking Show game. So the first one is Adia, the Garden Fairy. I had not worked on this yet for the baking show, but this contestant needed 3 lengths of floss. So I need to do that. This is on the called for fabric, which I think is 32 count dirty. Belfast. 2/2 full cross. So here is her starting point. I might do wing. I could do skin. I'm not really sure. We'll see what I feel like when I get her out on Wednesday. And hopefully I have time to do all 3 links of floss that's needed for this game. If I'm feeling it, I might keep going if I have more time, or I might do the 3 links of floss and then go work on like my festive mandala border or something. We'll see. And then the next one is Villa Mirabilia. This got one or 2 links of floss early on in the season and then no more. This one needs 5 links of floss. So hopefully I'll be able to have time for all 5 of those on Thursday. We'll see. This one I need to sit back too because I have a lot done all over and it's on a fat half. So here is this one. She's done also on at least similar to what's called for. I think a 32 count willow, 2/2 full cross. I do all of my Mirabilias on 32 count, 2/2. So I'll do a close up of the pot area because I believe that's where I will be. I need to do 5 links of floss. So we'll see if I can finish the pot with those 5 links. If not, I will move into her as well and do some there too. If I finish the pot and I still have goal left, I could move into her, but I kind of doubt it. The pot's so big. But that would be fantastic if I could finish the pot with 5 links of floss. We will see. Or bring this border down on this side too. That's another option. So with a length of floss on that. So there's that one. And that will get me half of my goals done for the Great British Baking Show stitching. And I'll do the 2 full coverage pieces next week. Waterfall and Yosemite needs 3 links of floss, and then End of the Ball needs 6 links of floss. And that was the project associated with the winner. So it's kind of like I really want to do that one last as a grand finale. It's on Thanksgiving. So again, I'm hoping I can have time for that. We'll see. If not, I might push it over. I have next Friday, Saturday, I have the same project on 2 days. So worst case, if I can't finish it all on Thanksgiving, I can do some more on Friday because it'll be fine. And then each of those projects will go a day and a half instead of 1 day and 2 days. So then my 2 pieces for let's just try to touch all my projects this year that I'm doing every Friday, Saturday. The first one is The Young Gardener by Art of Stitching, I believe. I won a giveaway from them at one point and I picked this one. This is a teeny tiny one because it's on 40 count and the stitch count isn't that big to begin with. So it's 1/1 half cross on 40 count white Verdal. There's my starting point. So I'll give this one time on Friday, hopefully. And then the other one is African Woman with Peonies. This is by Artisy, the first one in my book. African Woman with Peonies 2. And this is on a 20, I think it might be a 25 count. It's a 2/1 half cross. I'm not sure what color. I need to write it on the cover because I don't remember. I think I have it in my stats in my Excel sheet. So I am picking symbols along the top. It looks like probably in her head wrap will be where I'll be choosing symbols. So I'll be working in this part of the design. So that's a fun one. This one it goes pretty fast. The charting is nice. The size is not very big, and so we'll see. We'll see what I can get done on Saturday in that one. And then Sunday I'll do some more on the stitching shelf. That will actually be my last day of seasonal Sunday for the stitching shelf because I'm gonna do winter floral cross starting on the 30th of November because I'm only gonna give it 3 days of Sundays in December, so I want to give 4 to Stitching Shelf and 4 to my winter cross. So one of the Sundays in December, the 14th, is Dina's birthday over at Stay Stitch, and she wanted a birthday stitch along she thought of was to work on something with a house. I think her new start is going to have a house on it, so I am going to work on my tulip house. Do I have that here? I don't think I do. I think it has its own thing. Yeah, I don't have that in my folder, but I'll work on tulip house for Dina's birthday on that Sunday, so that's going to be fun. Yeah, anyway, so I think that's everything. Is that enough for you? So I'm excited about all of my projects and what I'll be able to hopefully get done this week. And I hope you have a wonderful week of whatever you're working on, and happy stitching. Bye.